Our next guest is the owner of Top Frontier Investment Holdings. She has 24,594 employees within the country. Let us all welcome Miss Marian Dael. Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I am also good, ma'am. So, for your question, what is discrimination and harassment?
I'm good. I hope you're also doing good, Miss Sheen. Well, Sheen, discrimination and harassment is part of our daily lives. Not only in the workplace, but it is also in our house, public places, and many more. When we say discrimination, it is an ethical issues or attitude towards your co-employee, like discriminating your co-employee's age, disability, race, religion, pregnancy, and gender, to name a few. There are two types of discrimination. The first one is the direct discrimination, which is often happens because people make biased assumption about what people with certain personality characteristics can and cannot do. So the best example of this is the American racist, like the white American and the colored American, and the American and the Asian people who live there in America. Diba ilang gina-beat, ilang gina-discriminate, ilang gina-bully, muna siya ang direct discrimination. The second one is the indirect discrimination. It happens when the workplace policy, practices, or behavior appears to treat all workers in similar way. Example of this is the regular shift in your company is 12 hours. So this is fair for all. And the only disadvantages of it is for the employees who have kids, who have family, and employees who live too far from the company. The security and the safety of the employee is at risk. There are different kinds of harassment, but we will focus today on the sexual harassment because this is popular in the workplace nowadays. So sexual harassment is unwelcome conduct of sexual nature. It consists of behavior that could rationally be expected to make a person feel offended, humiliated, or intimidated. And sexual harassment can be formed in verbal, physical, or written. Here in the Philippines, we have RA 7877, Section 3, or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995, stated that this act makes all forms of sexual harassment in the employment, education, or training unlawful, environment training unlawful rather, and the penalty if a person is convicted of sexual harassment is imprisonment not less than 1 month nor more than 6 months, or fine not less than 10,000 nor more than 20,000 pesos, or both such fine and imprisonment at the discretion of the court. There are two types of sexual harassment that takes place in the workplace. The first one is the quid pro quo. It is a Latin word which means this for that. It refers to the exchange of something of value between parties engaging in a contract. Familiar ba mo ng under the table or kanang monkey business? So this is great some of di ko mag-ingon na great. These are some of examples sa quid pro quo. You need to give in order to get what you want. Na kuan lang siya nga harassment, mabutang lang na siya nga harassment if ever the only one party will be benefited. So kung ang isa lang ka party ang nag-benefit sa kanang imong gihatag, it means unlawful, di ba? Illegal. So mabutang na siya nga harassment or discrimination. Pero harassment man ni atong topic karon, so harassment siya. Sa other type of harassment is the holistic work environment. It exists when one behavior within a workplace creates an environment that is difficult or uncomfortable for another person to work in due to discrimination. For example, due to the limited space of your office, your boss decided that in one table, you need to share it with your co-employees. So this is number one, ano siya nga example sa holistic work environment. It's a big no-no to share your table to your co-employees. But if dako na siya nga table, sige, okay na lang. 'Di ba? And that employees or co-employees with you always talk to you with green jokes, always get things in your place without asking, she will always grab your things or your ball pen without asking, ano ba ito? And then, you are too annoyed and get offended with her or his green jokes, and it makes you uncomfortable to work and you can't concentrate. So, that is the second example of holistic work environment. If that activity or if that thing you experienced, you need to talk to your immediate supervisor or manager or to your HR about that matter. While discrimination and harassment occurs in the workplace, it may lead to workplace bullying. It includes a poor work culture when the employee loses focus and exhibits counterproductive work behaviors such as not completing tasks on time, leaving work early, and arriving late. So,
In connection to your topic, Mom, do you think a business would be successful if there is discrimination and harassment occur in the workplace?
this is some of the effect of the discrimination and harassment in the workplace. As what we see, those activities, it may lead to companies' bankruptcy and failure.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Ms. Marianda L. We have learned so much about discrimination and harassment. Our fifth guest is the owner of the Philippine Long Distance company, the PLDT. She has 13,890 employees within the country. Please help me welcome Ms. Regine May Maniamento. Good evening, ma'am. It's nice to have you here in the show. For your question, ma'am, what is health and safety?
Okay, so the term health and safety is generally used to describe occupational health and safety. It relates to the prevention of accidents and ill health to employees and to those who may be affected to their work.
Based in your opinion, ma'am, based in your answer, why do you think a business should also consider the health and safety of the employees?
The unsafe working conditions are a threat to everyone, and they can occur in any environment. That's why the working environment should remain healthy and safe to all people. Featuring of ventilation, appropriate lighting, roomy stations, hygienic workstations, and temperature control needs to be employed. So in health and safety, there are classified hazard categories, and those are economic hazards, chemical hazards, and biological hazards. So let's go back to economic hazards. Economic hazards is related to the way a person's job strains his body. Sometimes it is the type of work being done, such as work that requires an employee to use repetitive or awkward motions or to lift things frequently. Next is chemical hazards. Chemical hazards are present anytime. It can be consist of cleaning products and solvents, vapors and fumes, and flammable materials, where it can comprise carbon monoxide and gasoline and asbestos. And lastly, the category is biological hazards. Biological hazards are those that came from working with people, plants, or animals. Blood and bodily fluids, bacteria and viruses, and even insect bites can be considered as biological hazards.
Very well said, Ma'am Regine. No? So as a manager, you should also consider not only the profit or the expenses, but also the health and safety of your employees. Thank you so much, Mom. We have learned from your actions that you have been shared to us today. Thank you. To proceed to our next guest, she is the owner of BDO Unibank. She also has 34,000 employees within the country. Please welcome Ms. Lovely May Hucho. How are you, ma'am? Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. For your question, what is incorrect?
Well, it is a mandate that businesses should at all times maintain precise and truthful bookkeeping records. Conducting an unethical accounting practices, which is a very grave offense in terms of publicly listed companies. Although it is also important in small privately owned companies to keep their financial records correct for the purposes of taxation, profit sharing, and investments. In generally speaking, most businesses consider incorrect accounting reports as the most unethical issue being faced in the business world. So basically, incorrect accounting is an error to an accounting entry that was not intentional.
Aside from incorrect accounting, ma'am, there is social media. So my question is, do you think social media can be a platform to improve the business? Why or why not?
Yes, because of social media, I can reach out to my customers and then gain the attention to more people or potential customers to know or even great to buy the products or services on what I am selling in my business. So no matter what I sell, social media can help by introducing or selling it to people around the world. Although we also know that these days it cannot be denied that social media is now a very vital business marketing tool. But we must also be careful on using it to your business because there are some ethical and legal problems that can actually affect any business industry.
And we will be right back after this commercial.
Nikos? O bakit? Teka. Sige anak, ibuhos mo lang.
Pinastid ako ni Matina! Trotix! Sabi niya, you and I are kindred spirits.
Kindred spirits?
Kunti na lang. Soulmates na yun. Yung ilong naman niya. To the left, to the left. Although ang smile niya, meron. Pero ang puso niya, wala! Wala siyang puso! Ito, pinag-ipunan ko pa sa maliit kong allowance. But that's another issue.
Wawa naman, Nikos.
Tama na yan.
Sige, Nikos, ibuhos mo pa.
Buhos lang ng buhos. Ganyan ang love ni Mami. Ganyan ang saya sa Nesty. Bottomless.
Ayoko maging member ng SMP. Samahan ng malalamigang Pasko.
Halika, hug kita.